There are 6 potential reasons that your videography business just isn't taking off. And having gone from a desk in my parents' living room to now running a full-scale production company, it's fair to say I've been through most of them. And here's the first thing that's going to be holding you back. I need you to imagine that your business is a shop on a high street, okay? And like any good shop, you've got a shop window. Now, traffic is the thing that you need to focus on here, and often businesses that just can't seem to grow aren't getting enough of it, and this is at any stage, whether you're a beginner or you're in a position like me. This is why I focus on this stuff every single day. Now, your traffic is the amount of people who are walking past your shop on a daily basis. It's about getting eyeballs looking at your shop window, which is basically marketing. And you need to start to think about, what are you putting in your shop window? What are you putting out on social media, Instagram? What things are you doing to attract eyeballs and businesses to look at you and say, hey, that looks kind of cool? Because when you do that, it converts these people that are walking past your shop into coming inside the shop. That's when we have an inbound lead, someone that says, yeah, I'm kind of interested, talk to me about the things that you do. And that's when that sales process really starts taking off and they start to move further down that funnel. If you don't know what a funnel is, by the way, very simply, you can think of it like this, as a funnel, and all the way through they have different levels. At the very top is traffic, then you've got leads. They're people that come to you and they actually talk to you about, hey, I'm interested in having a video. And then you have customers, and then it's converting those leads, those people who are interested, into actually becoming paying customers. Later on we talk about repeat business as well and getting them to keep coming back to you. So you've got all of these people walking through your shop front, that's like that. Then you've got a percentage of those people will want to have a conversation with you, they're your leads, and then a percentage of those people will become customers, and then if you do a good job, you'll have repeat business, and that's how you build a stable business model. Now, how we generate more traffic is by doing a few things. Of course, I've already mentioned marketing, posting regularly on social media, doing Instagram lives and highlights and stories and all of those things when you're actually out on set. And that's a really good habit to get into, something that we are trying to get better at as time goes on. Just taking a quick highlight story of what you're up to on the day. You might have heard of market share, which is the amount of business basically a potential business can do in the market. I've explained that really bad, but nonetheless, I want you to focus on mind share. Are you the top of people's minds? If you're not posting regularly, then it's hard to remain in the forefront of someone's mind, and a great way to do that is to utilize stories and posting regularly on social media channels. A quick tool to help you do that would be a piece of software online called Content Cow, and it allows you to schedule your content across multiple platforms at any given point in the future. Really useful tool if you find yourself not with the workflow to be able to do it every single day. Then you can spend one day a week just scheduling content for the next month or the next week ahead, and it's a really easy tool to mean that next time when you're out on set, you can still be posting in the background because the AI tool's doing it for you. Now, undoubtedly, you're saying to me, Ross, I post regularly on social media. It's still having no luck for me. I'm not getting enough people converting from traffic into some actually qualified leads. Now, don't forget that when you've got your business, you've got your photography or your camera business here, you've got your outbound stuff, which is your sales, where you actually go after the lead, and then you've got your inbound stuff, which is your marketing. And with that inbound stuff, that is the traffic method that we were talking about, trying to attract people into you. But you can increase the number of people looking at your business, looking at your shop and what you have to offer, by using an outbound strategy. And with this outbound strategy, you're going to be going to places, going to local events, going to business networking meetings. Because if you go to a business networking meeting, and I attend a few of these, by the way, you're in a room full of maybe 20 to 100 other businesses in that local area who are all interested in doing business. That's why it's a business networking meeting. By attending those events, you've got more eyeballs looking at you, and you can start to have conversations with them and start to kind of push people through that journey. Sometimes with marketing, it is a longer term game. You're waiting to attract people into your shop, whereas outbound's a bit more forceful, a bit more out there, a bit more, hey, I think we would work well together. What do you think? It's kind of a bit more of a yes-no approach, and it gets slightly quicker results in my opinion. However, Inbound marketing and doing marketing and having people come to you is often a higher price point because they love what you do. They're interested. That's why they've walked into your shop. And this is really important to remember, and it's actually probably one of the key reasons that holds businesses back. And that's why I wanted to spend a little bit more time diving into this particular issue. When I was growing my business, I found myself in a constant loop and a constant struggle of being like, oh, I'm spending all this time doing sales, and I'm like making some sales, I'm getting some businesses, and I'm having to find some more work, and then, you know, I do the job, it moves on, and I have to find some more work again, and I hated that. I don't like doing the sales. I'm a creative. I enjoy doing the creative fun stuff. And that's because I neglected a really important point of my business here, and that's repeat business. Actually looking after those clients that have already worked for you, because they're your lowest hanging fruit. They're the easiest people to bring back. It costs you so much time, money, and energy to acquire a new customer because of the methods that we were just talking about. But if you can actually just get someone that's already used you to come back, they already trust you, they already like your work, it's a much easier sell. And often, again, you've already shown them the value. And I'm going to talk about pricing and structure and creative ability later on. But for this, I want to focus on repeat business, because this is a mistake that I've made, and I definitely see a lot of filmmakers in my academy make as well. So whether or not in your funnel, we talk about, you know, you've got your inbound and your outbound kind of top of funnel stuff. That's how we're actually going around having conversations with businesses. But when they drop through to being a customer, you might work with them on a one-off project. You know, you do a film shoot or a photo shoot for them. And I'm going to talk to you later on in this video about repeat business as well, so hang on for that. But when they stop being a customer, for a lot of people, again, they just fall to the side, and they might come back to you on their own accord, but we need to kind of like get them to come back a bit quicker. Otherwise, you're just going back to that kind of sales process. And this stuff here is marketing, sales and marketing, okay? So what we need to talk about here is when they've finished, what is a repeat business structure? How can we get them coming back to you for more? And the perfect way to do this is through a little bit of what we would call account management. Now, account management is literally when you're just looking after the client account. So every client that comes to you, even if you're a small business, you know, they would have an account with you, and it's your job to look after them, kind of notice potential problems in their business that you can provide a solution to. That's the same for any business, not just filmmaking, but for us, we're looking at opportunities where a video or photos can help them grow their business and achieve their desired goals. And the best way to do this is just etch out 1 hour every morning. So you might etch out 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. to think about your existing clients, all the clients that you've worked for so far, and think about how you can help them. If you do that every day, you're going to be able to suggest better ideas to your clients, and I guarantee you're going to be so much busier with repeat work, and you'll be able to bring them back to you more frequently by using that approach. Now, there is one more method here, and for us, when we have a customer, we work with them on a one-off kind of project, okay? So we do a one-off video for them, and we work with them on the project because we want to get to know them a little bit more. We want to see how easy they are to work with and make sure that we're a right fit. But after that, we actually sell them, and our repeat business model is called an RCP. That stands for a regular content plan. Now, businesses need regular content in their businesses to post on social media, to post on their website, to keep their SEO fresh, to keep their business really creating a buzz. Sales and marketing, right? Exactly the same as what you guys are doing to get eyeballs and traffic looking at your shop front. These businesses are doing the same thing. So we developed an RCP, I put RCR for some reason, it is a P, to help businesses work with us on long-term retainers. So we sign up businesses on 12 months to kind of 3-4 year contracts with us, and they will come and they will use us every single month. Now, I'm not going to dive into this now because I've got like a 2-hour long training breaking this stuff down and how we actually make it work, along with ways on how to generate more leads to speed up this process by using AI, and also our sales strategies into how to convert them from just being a lead to actually being a customer. And now if you go and register for our free training event, which is in the link in the description below, then you will also get our sales script when you sign up to that. So make sure you go and take a look at that. But by applying something like a regular content plan into your own business, it provides you with a predictable cash flow, which will create a profitable production company, because you know exactly how much money you've got coming in every month. And that works for a beginner or an expert, people who work on big projects that are always different, and also people who just want to work on like just 1 or 2 videos on every single project. I explain loads of ways that you can make it work for your business, so go and take a look at that. But by implementing that, it then takes that one customer, and for us, it means they come back to us 12 times every year. Realistically, that one customer normally only comes back to us 3 or 4 times a year, and by putting them onto this plan, it converts them into a 12-time-a-year client. Wow, okay, so we are only on stage 2 of 6 here, so I hope there's lots of value for you. I've got loads more to come. We talk about pricing structures, understanding your niches, creating better offers, accountability, creative entitlement, lots of really cool things to help you grow your business. And the reason that you're not growing at the moment will be one of these things, or maybe a mix of a few, like it was for me. If you could do me one favor, I just want to know, what do you think about this kind of little whiteboard session? I'm obviously using my iPad at the moment. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I just really would love to know if you like this style, if you'd rather it be graphics, if you'd rather it be animated, or just nothing at all. It would be really helpful feedback to know how we can create better and more engaging videos as well. I personally have enjoyed this, but I'd love to know what you think. The reason that having a niche is important is because you can talk their language very easily. If you ever get a client come to you that you're in the ends of a sales negotiation with, and they say, this sounds fantastic, you sound fantastic, I love your work, but can you just send me over some specific examples of my industry? And you're sitting there thinking, I don't have anything. I don't have anything in this industry because I've just got like a diverse portfolio, and that can be good, but that makes it really hard because you know you can do a good enough job. And we're constantly in this battle when we've been growing our business, and it makes it really hard to then say, no, I don't have anything like that, but hopefully you can see from our work that we can do a good job. To the potential client, it makes them feel like, actually, maybe there's a bit more risk there than they initially thought of. So having a niche and focusing on that is really helpful, because you can then, if they say, if you've got a specific example of that, and you can say, yep, no worries, here's this video that we did for this company, and it makes them so much more engaged with you. Now, that's actually not where the problem comes, is necessarily the niche, is understanding the niche. And as a creative, I went down the wrong road here of just focusing on what I really enjoyed. I like creating this content. I like, hip hop music, so I'm going to put hip hop music to this. I wasn't thinking about what the customer actually wanted and what they were looking for. Creating an offer for your niche, you need to understand, first of all, what problems they're facing. So think about it like this. You've got your client at the moment, and they're in this position here. So this is the client now. And I want you to think of the client plus 2 years. So in 2 years' time, that client's going to have some goals and ambitions that they're trying to get to, okay? Think about, what does that journey look like for them? And you can ask ChatGPT for this stuff as well, and you can type this in online. Do a bit of market research is what we call it. And it gets you to understand what kind of goals they've got and what kind of challenges that they're facing right now that's not enabling them to get there. So for instance, let's talk about the construction industry. Now, let's say they want to grow their business because they want to expand their team, expand their offices. Now, the way they're going to do that is by getting in more work. They're going to need more work themselves. They're going to need more customers. So when we're thinking about our offer, we need to be thinking about, how can video fit in with that solution? Okay, so we might then approach them with an offer that says something like, and this is an offer, and this isn't a discount, by the way. This is hey, I understand that you're probably having this situation at the moment of not getting enough work. Well, did you know that video is one of the most powerful tools you can use to onboard new clients? Not only that, it's good for your SEO, so your website's going to rank higher, which means you're going to get more clicks, more traffic, more inquiries as a result. That becomes a much stronger offer than, hey, I think I can do a really cool video for you because I did a video for these guys and that was just cool. right? It's a lot more powerful, it's a lot more tangible. And as a business owner, we're all looking at the money in and the money out, and that's what we want to focus on when we're thinking about creating that offer. And that leads me really nicely into my next point, which is pricing and perceived value. And this is something that people wildly get wrong, and I got it wrong a lot of the time. And I'm going to tell you how we overcome that and how we continue to make those changes within our business to make sure that our pricing is more on point. So price tells a story. If you're really cheap, people are going to think that you're cheap and they're not going to get the same value as they would from someone else. Also, if you're really expensive and your work doesn't back it up, then they're going to feel like there's a huge disconnect. And also there's a huge element of risk there as well. And when we talk about perceived value, a very good friend of mine, Kane, he delivered a free session the other day in our academy, and it was about perceived value. And he was breaking down the buying habits of people, especially when it comes to pricing. The buying habit of someone that's buying a Ferrari versus a bag of Doritos is vastly different, right? Because this is only going to be like a dollar or a pound, and the car's a much more of a higher investment. So it's understanding that price tells a story, and that difference in that sales strategy is going to be that as well. So if you're trying to sell a bag of Doritos at the price of a Ferrari, it's not going to happen, okay? And that's what I see happens a lot of time. And people say to me, well, Ross, I'm worth like $5,000 a day. And you say, okay, well, that's a lot more than I charge. Do you think your quality of work is better than mine? And they say, well, no. And say, okay, so maybe then you're misaligned. And they say, but Ross, I did have one client pay me that, so surely I am worth it. And people get lost, unfortunately, and this really holds you back in business rather than that kind of slower growth, is they get one client paying them $5,000-$10,000 for a project, and then they sit patiently waiting for that phone to ring again, and they think, I just can't get any more work. And I've seen a lot of businesses start to go into debt because they haven't been able to make any sales, because they're waiting for that, because they think, no, I shouldn't lower my prices, I'm worth $5,000 to $10,000. Unfortunately, if you've got a cash flow problem, it might be a positioning thing as well, and you need to think about maybe looking at the market. So what we do is every time we think about raising our prices, we look at what the market's doing. We mystery shop, we phone up other businesses, and we find out how much it would cost us to get a video created for a fictitious business, to get an idea of where we're aligned with our pricing structure. And from a client's perspective, they always want clarity. They want to know exactly how much it's going to cost. And when you can reel off prices quite quick and they're justifiable, it makes it a lot more easy for them to understand. And it all comes back to this perceived value. And that's what we're trying to achieve here, is what is the client's view of you and your services? What value do they value at? Because you could be worth 10 grand, but if they don't see that perceived value, then they're not going to make the sale. So how do we get them to do that? And this is, again, is something that Kane taught in our academy group that was absolutely game changing for a lot of businesses. And that is, and I'm gonna not write this all out, is the outcome promised. So what you're promising plus the likelihood of achievement, okay? So they're thinking about, okay, well, what outcome have you promised? You've promised this video that's going to increase their amount of inquiries in their business. How likely do they think that outcome is? And you might be able to increase that likelihood of the outcome, by the way, by showing them case studies, okay, and things like that. So you can achieve that throughout your sales process. That's going to be over the time taken to actually achieve this as well, plus the risk involved. Okay. Now, if you don't have much of a portfolio in that niche, your risk to them is going to be much higher, whether you like it or not, even though you know you can do a good job. So that increases that risk. They're going to be thinking about the time as well, obviously, versus the outcome promised and the likelihood of achievement. And that then builds your perceived value. And this was something I didn't understand. This is something I found boring, kind of blew my mind. And for those of you who are still watching and do watch to the end, you're the ones that are going to be successful because you're willing to kind of break down those boundaries, as I was as well, because this stuff isn't that fun. You know, I'm a creative. I love going out there and filming, being on set, being around people. And this stuff is the importance to get you those jobs you want. If you want your dream client, you need to understand that sales process. You need to understand the traffic, getting that repeat business to build a profitable business with regular cash flow, and then also converting those people on this kind of pricing and perceived level. If I overpriced ourselves we wouldn't have enough work to grow. If I underprice ourselves, we don't have enough money to grow. It's about hitting that sweet spot, and using this strategy really helps get you there. I hope this doesn't happen, but I think a lot of people are going to click off when I say this, so please bear with me. My next point is creative entitlement. You forget that you have this: a videography business. Now, unfortunately, people will spend 100% of their time focused on videography. And that works sometimes, by the way. There are a few people that I know that just focus literally on this, and they've done well. 99% of people, though, I know that have done this, struggle in their business and end up either stopping because it's not consistent enough, it's not viable, it's not sustainable to make a living from. It's the people that do this. They say they're going to spend 40% of their time on the creative side, the creative techniques, and 60% of their time on the business side. And I call it creative entitlement because we are creatives. It's not about making work less fun. It's about doing more of the fun jobs, getting in the bigger projects, the dream projects, putting yourself in a position that you never dreamt you would be in. And that's not going to happen if you focus solely on videography. You need to understand the business side. And that's just a little take home, just to think about at the moment, how much time do you spend focused on the business side, the sales, the marketing, the account management, the growth? What are you doing to grow the business? Because all of the creative will come if you spend a little bit more time on that. And hey, if you're currently in a situation where you're just doing 100% on videography, you don't have to make this change overnight. Maybe just allow 20% on business for the next couple of months, okay? And that will be a really good way to kind of build this out a little bit more. And it's something, again, I focused on this and I found myself in a position where I was just like, I just couldn't seem to get to that next point where I was just happy with the money I had in my account. And how can I get these bigger clients? I really want to work for their brands. How can that happen? Well, unfortunately, I had to really learn the business side, and that's something that I've learned to love, and that's why I love to share this with you guys as well, because it's the thing that changed our life and then helped me grow this business as well. So I love this, so please take this bit on board. And if you're still here, then accountability is one of the key reasons that people would have just dropped off. It's the keeping yourself accountable to what you say you're going to do. And I'm going to break this down in a really quick, simple tip. There's loads of ways you can do this, but the one focus method for today is going to be to create a very quick 3-month plan. So you've got month 1, 2, and 3. So let's say, September, October, November, January, February, March, whenever you want to start this from, just list out those 3 months. And think about a desired goal for the end of this. How many more clients do you want? So a goal could be 2 new clients, okay? Or it could be something like, I really want to just land this one dream client. I want to get someone in the watch industry to let me create a video for them. Whatever your goal is, it's unique to you, but pop that at the bottom as a reminder. Then we're going to backwards engineer it from there, and we're just going to keep yourself accountable by doing a few things here. So let's say the point in which you need to get 2 new clients starts with the traffic, okay? So number 1 is you're going to create the content. I'm not going to write this out because it'll be longer to write, but you're gonna, in month 1, you're going to in that first week, create regular content for yourself so you can promote it over the next 3 months so that you're generating more traffic. In number 1 as well, it might be to look at your sales structure and understand your niche's pain problems and what kind of offer you might come up with. Then in month 2, you say, well, I'm going to challenge myself. Can I email or call or go and speak to 300 businesses? That's around about 10 businesses a day. So can I go and do 10 businesses a day? That's your challenge. Set that for yourself. And in month 3, you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to then look at anyone I've done work for, and I'm going to go back and look at the repeat business. I'm going to give them a call up, see how they're doing. Hey, we did a video for you a couple months ago. Just want to see how it's going at the moment. We came up with this new idea. Do you want to work together? Those kind of things. all of a sudden, your 2 new client goal seems a bit more achievable, and you've got a stepping stone. And every month you can put into your calendar to check in with yourself. Have you done what you said you were going to do? And if you haven't, you need to adapt the rest, and you need to start holding yourself a little bit more accountable. We do this really well in our academy. We've got our community area as well, where we help keep each other accountable. We have Q&A calls as well to help problem solve these things. And this is one of the strategies that we use to really help people who struggle with accountability get back on track and break it down and make that target seem a lot more achievable, because ultimately there's a really good funnel and a really good method to actually achieve that goal. Okay, fantastic. You lasted with me this long and I really appreciate it. I always think these videos are just going to be short and sweet. I'll give you just the top line of what you need to know and you can go away and figure it out, and I just can't do that. I like to provide as much value as I possibly can. So if you feel like you are getting value and you're not currently subscribed, then please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really want to grow this. If we can get to 25,000 subs by the end of the year, that would be amazing for me. There's quite a way from that in terms of our monthly growth. So if you can help us in that journey, I'd really appreciate it. So finally, something that still holds me back now, and I talked about this in my mental health video actually, is being a perfectionist. Now, being a perfectionist when you're a filmmaker is important. You notice things that other people wouldn't notice, and that's how you make your work better and better and better. And just because you notice it and a client doesn't mean that you shouldn't change it. You know, you should still try and do things to the best of your ability. However, that becomes really slow growth. And slow growth is because you spend so long editing a video. You're making sure it's perfect before you hand it back to a client that potentially doesn't value it that highly. And at that point, time is money, and it's costing a lot of businesses that I know money because they're spending too long editing it, when the client would be happy, more than happy with the end result, and would be able to pass it over and sign it off and move on to the next one. And this is where I've started to apply the 70% rule. And I'm gonna caveat this with a bit of a pinch of salt, because we don't look at our projects as, are they 70% good? But when I was growing the production company, I think that's something that would have helped me massively grow quicker at the start. Now, all of the projects that we go out of our business, there's always room that we could have done for improvement. If we had had a higher budget, we could have done a better job filming. If we could have spent more time editing, we would have done a better job. Sometimes it's just knowing that good's good enough and understanding your client expectations, and that comes in the pre-production side, is understanding what are their expectations and have you achieved them and have you exceeded them. I would say that, hand on heart, most of the projects that leave here, we exceed the expectation for that project, but there's still a lot of room for improvement if the parameters had been slightly different. Now, when I think about the wider business, and this is why the 70% rule comes in really helpful here, and you can even do this as a training method yourself. So I was listening to another YouTuber and he was describing the 70% rule, and it was actually something that my therapist had suggested that I take a look at as well. And he said that there was a study done in America where they took a classroom of students who were learning photography over the summer, and he split them into two and said one of them had to take as many photos as possible while the others had to focus on just taking the best photo. At the end, they submitted the photos into an anonymous competition, and all of the top 10 were in the quantity section and not the quality section. And that's because these guys were enabling themselves to fail and fail quicker. They took a photo, it was 70% good, so they try and take a better one, then they take a better one and keep going and going and going. So slowly they keep getting better and better. And what happens over time is, and he likens it to circles, okay? So each of these circles are just 70% filled, okay? But over time, what they've learned because they failed quicker enables them to grow. Now, the other classroom that were just focusing on doing one thing really well, they spent their entire time at 100%. But it took them the same amount of time as it took these guys to scale at a rate and benefited them more. And when I saw this, I thought, wow, I could have done with this when I started, but I can still implement this now. And again, I'm not necessarily talking about quality here. I'm more talking about just being okay with failing, getting used to that, and knowing that no one's perfect. Even if you do the most perfect job now, tomorrow it won't be perfect because you would have learnt more on that journey. So be okay with 70% sometimes. Sometimes good is good enough, and just keep learning along that process. Try things with business, try things with marketing and sales. Throw it at the wall, see what sticks. And if you follow all of these, or if just one of these problems were the things that were holding you back in your business, then you'll be on that step to creating a bigger business too. If you're serious about growing your production company, and by watching to this point, I'm guessing you are, then make sure you take a look at our free training event. I'll explain how to use that regular content plan to grow your business, how to find more leads, and I'll give you our sales scripts as well when you register for that event as well. And we should be doing some more live events soon, so make sure you take a look at that. If you want to watch another video right now, then I'd suggest taking a look at this one, because this is when I sat down with Kane, who I mentioned earlier on, and he really went from being a broke filmmaker to selling video strategy all over the world for clients. He literally has just come back from Germany, and he's doing great in business, and he went through a really tough time of being a filmmaker because of a few of these challenges that he faced within his business. So make sure you take a look at that, and if you want to grow your business, look at the RCP system. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.